So when we say je thawanu છે તો થવાનું જ છે.
Right.
So basically it doesn't matter. So the good, bad, કશું સારું કરીશું તો સારું થશે. But પણ જે થવાનું છે તો
Okay,
થવાનું છે.
yeah, see, whatever is, when you take the birth, they say, right, that's in our Shastra says body, when you get the body, right, it is predetermine everything, what that body has to do, through that body you have to do that, that's why it is called the Karan de kehવામાં આવે છે. Karan means the body with the reasonings, and that actually always happens through that body, which we say that whatever I have to do, whatever you born for doing, right, that you have to do that, and you have no choice, that it is going to be that way, right? So then what is actually person has to do to get his future better, or he doesn't have to worry for anything, right? Simple thing, that he doesn't have to count anything himself, that what he has, he's himself, anything is himself, is no. Don't get anything possession, don't think that anything is yours, because your body is not even yourself, so all you have to do is, but because the life is given, that you are fundamentally obliged to do one thing, that you don't actually damage anywhere to the society, not universe as a whole. Like if you're living in the family, so you don't do anything, right, that hurts the family as a whole. If you live in society, same way it works. So all person has to do during life is, don't do anything that going to hurt somebody. Somebody means as a whole. Like if you have to kill somebody for the good of like saving 100 people, you can kill it. So as a whole, what you judge yourself doing is, do something counting that it is benefited overall, to the majority of the people. But don't do simply for your selfishness, just because you get happy, for your own personal interest. That's one is Gnan, which we call, and that one status, when person lives and do that, right, his future is always clear. If you do something today wrong, right, easily person can see that what result is going to come there, So that's one is simple thing.
So how come like આપણને એમ લાગે, oh, like one person has such a dukhi life, and then one person doesn't have a dukhi life, that આપણે બહારથી એમ લાગે,
See, this is a thing, that there's a concept coming, like say judgment, judging somebody, right, like that, and then everybody do the mistake. First of all, nobody can make you unhappy or happy. Happiness and unhappiness is your relative standards, first of all. Now, we think that this person has more than me, and that's why it looks like he's happier than me, because our ability to see is very limited. Like we can see the person's, okay, he has a Mercedes-Benz car and I have bike, so I think that, oh, he's happy. But you cannot see beyond that. Beyond that, once actually you go and do the research, then you will find out, oh, God has given him Mercedes-Benz car, but he has a lot of disease. He has a lot of other problems. He has some hell of problem with the business, even the big business, right? He cannot sleep even like that. So personally, mentally, he's feeling, even though you think that with the Mercedes-Benz car he's happy, he's not happy at all. So when total of happiness and misery for that person's life, when you're adding up all this thing is going through, is coming out equal. And as I said, for this theory, person cannot die until happiness and misery totals zero. At the time of death, if anybody near to the death, if you ask that, give me the story of your whole life, bad and good result, and you put the marks there for goodness that you feel, right, going through that story, put 1 to 10 plus, and for whatever you think is misery, put negative 1 to 10, and you will find out the total is near to zero when you die. He cannot die otherwise. And it is equal for everybody, even king to the beggar. And that one I had to answer one question when I was young in one interview. And I told that it was a cotton mill, right? And I said that this is the thing, rule, everything equal, happiness and everything. Then he asked me that how come it is that our owner of this Ambika mill, right, and one beggar is equal in happiness. Then I say, yeah, it is right, because you seeing that happiness that he feels like a measuring type, right? It is you have to see the right way you measuring and equaling that, right? Like if you see, for example, let's okay, the owner of the Ambika mill will get like a 10 lakhs rupees profit, and you will see what happiness on his face, right? Same thing you will see for the beggar if you give one piece of, good food even, sweet. So this is relative. And when you total all these kind of things for any particular life, right, it is coming out this way, plus and minus, and it becomes zero by the time you die. Then he has asked me one more question, that stupid guy, he says that how in our history said that some people live so many years, right, long life and like eternal, saying. I say, yeah, they can do that, but those people, how they do that? Because they're living in the zero level. Zero means for them happiness and unhappiness is same. That doesn't matter at all. That's equal to that. And if person can achieve that status of the mind, he can live eternally, as long as you want to live. That's yogis does that.
Okay, what is something your father has taught you?
See, father, he didn't actually taught that way directly, because he don't believe in that one. He speaks very little. Like unless you ask, he don't say any damn thing, That was his nature over that. But what I learned from him, that he has a tremendous faith in the God and our religious. Like say, he believed in karmas, and because of the religious, he reading the Ramayana and all this thing. And he has tremendous understanding about fundamental truth, that I told that nothing but himself, everything happens by his own will. And even in the later years, when he write any letter to anybody, only he write down as a likhitan, we write like our name. Instead of that, he was writing Ishwar Ichha, That's what he was writing. What is that?
Okay. How do you forgive someone?
See, actually, forgiving and that thing comes at the level that you live, like that, right? If you think that somebody is responsible for something he's doing, right, then that question arises. But my level wise, that question won't arise, because I know that nothing but himself. So there's no question of forgiving or something happens, because I won't say anybody that, oh, you did right or wrong and you should do that like that. That imposing theory, I don't use that at all. So for me, forgiving things is not there at all. Question does not arise. That question only arises when you know that yourself, you know something more, or you are better than somebody. Then those kind of all questions arise. And in that case, if you ask in that sense to forgive somebody, right, then you have to actually use only one thing. That, okay, if somebody did something wrong and you want to realize that thing, right, then you should say forgive that. But that's like a common thing. So, but it's not like, say, person should live that way, Because nobody has the right, first of all, that stage to live even. That's wrong. That, oh, I'm something and somebody do wrong and I can forgive him, not forgive him. That means you thinking yourself is bigger than somebody, and that is wrong in my principle. That is totally wrong. But only you react to that, like so. you did this thing wrong. You don't do that, right? That's you reacting simply understanding within yourself that you doing that just because it is good for the other person, not because what actually yourself is bigger or better than others. Just your feeling. That's why a person all has to do is one thing, simple thing. Do something and test only one thing, that you want to do that because you think it is good for them, do that. That's it. And that's a good thing. That's when I define what is good thing and bad thing, right? Simple thing. Only person can judge that thing by himself. So before person do anything, right, he only knows what is intention behind that. And if your intention behind that is to help somebody, right, or you think that by doing that that will get benefited to somebody, that's a good thing. But if you do something that thinking that if I do something and it will benefit to me, right, that's a bad thing. You know, and that only person knows intention, nobody else knows. Anything somebody does, only person knows what his intention is, not outsider. By visual you cannot see that. You know.